recommendations. We have some great topics, but we lead with Bad Batch episode number 3.
Here we go. The replacements. Clone Force 99 needs some ship repairs as they land on a remote moon in order to work on their ship. A power-consuming space monster, Cam's words.
Yeah, that was my son's.
I love it.
Space monster. He says the space monster.
I love it. Steals some parts, and Hunter and Omega need to track her down. Hunter gets incapacitated, and Omega boldly follows the beast into its lair to get the part back. Omega shows she is capable member of the team and retaining the needed part in saving Hunter. Meanwhile, the important story thread of this episode shows Tarkin and Lieutenant Rampart theorizing that troop squads led by clones with a mix of conscripted soldiers would be the most ideal fighting force. Crosshair leads a group of troopers to eliminate the last of Sagara's group. When they arrive, they find only leftover civilians. Crosshair begins to mow down the civilian survivors until one of the conscript protests. He reminds the trooper, good soldier, follow orders. And when the trooper does not, Crosshair puts a blaster bolt through his chest. Back on Kamino, he is feeling the effects of not being with the rest of 99. Meanwhile, the cloners are realizing they need to improve upon their Jango Fett formula.
So the thing I really like about this episode is the episode, but kind of the ongoing thing in the series is that they're really like fleshing out how we went from the prequel clone army to the Empire Stormtrooper army kind of as we know it. And we kind of see the beginnings of that here. I think it's pretty obvious that at some point Crosshair is going to rejoin the team. I just think that that's pretty obvious. I mean, it's Star Wars and there might be twists and turns, but at the end of the day, it's a cartoon, right? So this though, like the story arc of they're on this moon, it was very reminiscent to Empire Strikes Back, where they're having to repair the ship. The Minox are chewing on the power cables. They have to go outside with the masks on and shoot, Han and Chewie shoot them off the ship or whatever. It was very reminiscent in that. I felt like the monster design was like a little bit too similar to that of the one that was in the previous episode where they were on that farm. But this was the kind of story arc that I felt like was needed to flesh out the whole Omega Hunter father-daughter thing that was kind of like rushed through in the second episode. And it's like this was what they needed to do to show that she's a kid, she's gonna be part of the team, but also kind of a pain in the ass before they went for that, I'm gonna send her away, she can't be, this is no place for a child, like that whole thing. Like they needed a few episodes like this before they got that. I almost feel like these are like the episodes are like out of order. Like this should have been the second episode, the third episode, or the second episode should have been the third episode, or even further down the line. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I do really like the whole feel where it's filling in the gaps of between the prequels and the original movies, because other than Rogue One and a little bit of Solo, we don't really have that. And with Rogue One taking place directly before A New Hope, there's not that much filler. I mean, there's 20 years worth of lore that they could explore, and I like that they're doing it. I just want more of it in maybe a more adult setting. But what did you think?
I felt the same way. Like, what I said last week about the episode is, I know we're setting up plot, and we're setting up plot in this one too. There's just more action, which I liked really kind of from the get-go. There wasn't too many breaks, and if there was still like the plot was evolving. The thing I thought was just when she got her own room at the end was like such a great moment. And I agree with you. Like this could have been further down the line where it shows that she's part of the team or whatever. But it's also one of those things I had to tell myself when I'm watching this is like, as much as I want it to be like adult Star Wars, it is still cartoon Star Wars, like you said. And so like, you do want to keep kids interested.
Right.
And even though Star Wars is appealing to kids, you're still kind of placating towards people more probably our age with Star Wars movies. and then with these things you have to still kind of placate with kids, I guess. I mean, that would be my thoughts on this. I just know that there's like a lot of episodes left, and I'm just
Yeah.
curious to see
Yeah.
where we go. They're doing a great job of, like you said, fleshing this out, which I like. I just hope my only one concern is that we don't have just like 6 episodes like we had with Falcon the Winter Soldier, where you kind of just can bang through stuff. I hope there isn't like a middle part where like a lot of nothing happens to build up. That's my only real concern. This was a good episode. This had good story building, good action. Anytime you harken back to the original trilogy, that's cool too. And I don't mind that. Just don't, like we always say, don't make new stuff. You can harken back, but don't make it the same thing. The thing I thought with this episode too, is I thought it looked really cool. Maybe it was just because there was a lot of darkness or whatever, and they had their mask and everything going on. But I thought this was a very visually appealing episode. I thought the first one was really visually appealing. I thought this one was. I didn't think the second one was really that visually appealing. But I thought this one kind of hit all the notes. And I think it was 27 minutes or something, and it flew by. It was a really, really like snappy episode.
Yeah, they're really settled on that, settled into that sort of 25-minute area. I mean, this could be easily shown on network Disney. Just, this is where we're going as streaming services, et cetera. But I mean, the story's interesting, and I just like, like I said, I like that they're kind of explaining point A to point B, where we haven't really had that before. Because it's obvious down the line that the Empire troopers are not clones. So I like that. I think that this could be a good vehicle for that. But like I said, I'd like to get more into that with some of the live action stuff. There's just so much to do, and they just, I feel like the problem is that they would feel obligated to shoehorn certain characters in. And so that's why, because these characters were already existing in the Clone Wars series, they can kind of more easily translate that to its own thing. But I enjoy watching it. It's not like Mandalorian level by any means, but it's a fun watch. I look forward to it every week, and it's quick. You know what I mean? So
do you think after we're done with this, we'll get an immediate, like, this is what next with Star Wars?
Well, I think Kenobi's next, because they either just finished filming it, or it was like pretty close to, or they just started it. I think we talked about that a couple of weeks ago because of the whole Ahmad Best rumors and everything. And I believe that they've started it. He's gone. Ewan McGregor's done some media tours to stuff like that. So I think Kenobi's next. But hell, I mean, it's already May. So, and I'm pretty sure that they're filming, they're doing either Book of Boba Fett or Mandalorian season 3 that they're filming it. So, or they're close to filming it. So I think that's probably what comes next, but definitely Kenobi is going to be the next thing. I'm pretty sure, but I would have to do.
I would love to know the storyline of like when the next, because we know we're going to get another trilogy. It's just, if we're going to get a set timeline on that.
Well, the only movie right now that's confirmed is the Patty Jenkins Rogue Squadron thing.
Right.
And I don't have any clue when that is slated to, like 24, maybe. I don't know. I'd have to do a little bit of research, but I can certainly have that in the clarifications for next week.
And I think the reason why I brought this is like, maybe it'd be good to not know. We went so long between the first 3 and then like the second batch, and and we were okay with that. Like, that was one of those things. Like, maybe it's time to like give Disney time to like figure out what they actually want to do with this next 3 and let these shows flesh things out. And I think it'd be almost better in a way.
They pumped the brakes on a lot of things.
Yeah,
because like the Boba Fett thing was supposed to be a movie, and then I think that they saw A, the success of Mandalorian, and B, that people were like lukewarm at best on the sequel trilogy, and they thought, dial this back, let's make it a TV show.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, like we talked about a couple of weeks ago, I think that Star Wars maybe lives on the small screen right now, and there's nothing wrong with that. and I'm when we get further down the line and talk about another topic, I'm gonna be belligerent about that point, but that's for later.